Hey, this is Vishal and hope all are doing good. So let's start it with the topic of the tour that is called the Swiftui. So in this tour we'll discuss about the basic things, basic functionalities of the Swiftui, why the Swiftui and how we can design and develop the apps using the MVVM approaches in here. So from basic elements to your all complex things, we'll discuss here one by one. So let's start it from the Swiftui basics. Okay, so let us start with the Swift UI. So basically, we can say that it is a modern UI framework. And why modern? Because of we are creating a design using a code. So if you aware as an Android developer means if you have worked before or likewise if you know that, so there they introduce the jetpacks the same way. Here we have a Swift UI. So the both approaches are the same. There we can create UI using the code. The same here we are doing the same, and also we have a preview. So under that we can visualize what's be going on. So that all I will explain on the Xcode. But here just important things to learn that it is a modern UI framework in which we can create the apps including the iOS, macOS, watchOS and tvOS. That's the single line. And I will upload this doc. You can read it, or you can read it from anywhere because of this is a very general definition. And also we can see that we have a preview during the course, and SwiftUI offers a declarative approaches to user interface design. So whatever we have done before that, we have a storyboard and likewise that, and we have a controllers according to that we can control that particular designs on that. But here everything should be here, and you can go to the tools and take it on your code and then use it. So I will just explain all these things, and means whatever we have done before in the Swift and Objective C, that's not be here. We are doing everything should be in a simple codes. So that's important point. And also we need to add few points that we remember here. Okay, so few points to remember here, that we have a declarative syntaxes, we have a cross-platform compatibilities, we have a previews and interactive designs we have, and also accessibility. So important point is declarative syntaxes means it implies whatever we are doing in the code, it can appear as an user interface. That means we have a implementation details. So this all we can maintainable means we can inherit it easily. And cross-platform compatibility means you can deploy your apps and is on cross platforms as I already described you above. And live preview also you can see that, and interactive designs we can do. Now these we have to work when we start the designings and code part. I will describe you how to do that. And the most important thing is that everything should be in the views here. So I will explain to you in the Xcode, then we go in theory again. Okay, so create your first project here, and you can say create a new Xcode project. Okay, and here we have a multi platforms, as well as you can see that iOS, Mac, watch, TV. So you can go for the particulars also, and if you want to go multi platform, that means it include all kind of apps. But here we started from the iOS and then say next, and I'm giving the name as in a Swift example basic. And here you can see that here we have a language Swift and interface Swift UI. That is the most important part. And then say next, and you have to go for the desktop. That means you store your project somewhere so we can access it easily here. Okay, so if you go for here, we have a Mac apps on my site, so you can create any folder on your site and then say create. So once it's done, that means your project be created. Okay, let me introduce you the four sections next code. That means a quick tips on that. So here we have on the left sections, this is we have a navigator, and you can see that your files be here. That is your editor section in which you have to do your code. The right is your preview if you want to hide or show that preview be here, and this is your inspectors. Okay, so means you can use the modifiers, and likewise that you can design it using this also. So at this time everything should be as in a form of code, so I will explain you. So I hide it for now, and just we'll see this preview. So let me check the editor also, and I just want to increase the size of font. Okay, so we can easily check it. Yeah, that's fine. Or one more, if you see that, yeah, that's fine. Okay, so this is your editor. So here you have to work with the code. So it's already there something VStack, image stack, padding, lot of things be there, but first we have to remove all these stuffs and we started with the fresh. So first thing is, I just explain you everything should be in a view. This is your main view class, and you have to create your custom views, and those custom views, that means your application views, you have to design it. Means multiple pages, like if you want to go for the description page, if you want to splash screens, so likewise that this is your views be here. Okay, and here this is the main body, that is called your app. Under that app we have a body, and that body called be the scene area. Okay, so this under the scene we have a window group, and under that window group we have to call this content view, that means your custom views. Okay, so this is simple structure in which we have to work, but that I explain it one by one what is the use of that. And here we have assets, means you can go for your app icons, your accent colors, lot of things be there, and this is the basic things we have to work. But here we have to work like that. Okay, this is your arrow, that means you can go back on, and you have to go on the next forward. So this be a simple way to work with the Xcode. Okay, so let us started with the coding. Means first we understand the view, what is the view and why we need it. Okay, so as I explained that when we start the Xcode, so here the first thing is that this is our view, we have to work on that. That means we have to design the custom views here. So what are the views exactly? So in Swiftui every element is a view. A view represents a user interface component such as a button, label, entire screen. So these kind of elements we are presenting here, so that is called your views. Okay, so a type that represent part of your app's user interface and provides modifiers that you use to configure views, and they are the visual building blocks of your app. That is the simple definitions if you go with that. Okay, and but as you know that every language has some protocols. So here when you define something, so that means here for the view we have a protocol for that what we need to pass it here. So what is actually protocols? That means a blueprint of a methods, means whenever you create any declare anything, that you have to define those things. So view that declared, that means the iOS site, they declare that this is the view and you have to create your custom views. So on that what you to do, you have to, that is a blueprint for you, and you to define those blueprint. Means the protocols can be adopted by the class structures and emulation to provide an actual implementation of those requirements. Means you have to design by yourself what you want to do with that view. So here the most important part is the body. Under that the first part is the body. Okay, and when we say that structure of view, that means under that we have a body, and that body, that means we have to call it that custom views under the scene, and that scene That means under the window group, and that window groups call it under the scene. So what is a scene? A scene is a part of an app's user interface with the life cycle managed by the system. So this I will explain when when we discussed about the MVVM approaches, or app approaches, when we build an app on that. So today we just understand that simple elements and how we call it. So these two be the very most important part, but we'll discuss as a lot of things there. Okay, I will explain it. And so if you go with the tools, there are a lot of things we have. Number one, text, and number two, text field. Then we have secure fields, we have images, then we have a button. So a lot of tools we there, but we are discussing about the basic tools. So first we take text and text field, how we can implement it here. So let us start it in Xcode, how we can use these two. Hi, so here you can see that we have an preview for this hello Swift content, and this is the element we talking about the text here. And sometimes what happened that there it's not displaying to you this view be here, means this preview. So it's then sometimes this storage issue be happen. So what to do, you just go for that is icon and about this Mac, and under that you go for the storage, and you have to go for the manage, and this is your developer options, and here you can see if any caches be going on, you can delete them. Okay, that's what you can do. Otherwise, if you have a good storage, and it show you at the first level. So sometimes it create an many issues be, as I checked in the Stack Overflow. So this issue happen commonly with the developers. So it's a way to achieve this. Okay, so as we are talking about the elements, and this is simple text, and we can do the text decorations, paddings, margins, but at this time we just talk about the elements. So this is the first element we talk about, this is the text. Okay, so how to enlarge the text and so many things, how to change the fonts or color. So we'll do it, but just first check all elements one by one. Okay, so this is our text element. Okay, so the next is our text field. So for that, what to do, you just go for the text field here, and here we need two things. If you want to use the placeholder, you can work with that. So just say that this is your placeholder, and here you have to pass whatever be the final name. So it asks to you what is exactly the username for this. So here you have to define, because of everything should be the state here. I will describe you what is the state in my next session. So what you to do, you just simply say this is a private where, and this is your username, and it is a kind of string, and at this time I am passing my name as an, okay, so it can be show here. And what more thing that is important here, it said to you that we need a text in a call. So what to do, you just use the text and then colon. Okay, so we'll see the result of this. So here you can see the update the screens be here, content will be updating, and we find the result for this input text will be here. So for the running device, I will describe you, or will enter some values. So but first you have to check that how we can use these things. Okay, so here we need a text field, and this is your placeholder if you want to go with that, otherwise no required. This is your text with the username, and we have many ways or many approaches to work with this. Means we can use the bindings, we can use the states, and many other approaches. I will describe you one by one on that, but at this time as we discussing the elements, so this is our second element, text field, so we are using like that. Okay, so go for the next one, let's see. Okay, so as we created in our Xcode, so this text field, so that means it is a control that display an editable text interface. So how we can add it, how we can enter, will describe you. We'll create a login for that. Okay. And one more thing, that there we can use the text field styles also, round border and many ways. So I will describe you on that way, but for now this is our second element we created. Okay. And the third one is, we have, okay, this is, we have a paddings and I will describe you. So this is a third field as already described. This is secure field the same way, and we pass it the value. Okay. And the fourth one is you can use the images and the button. Okay, so these are very basic elements that is required. So first we'll discuss the button, and then we'll discuss the image on that. So for the button, what to do, that means here we know that button is used to trigger anything, so any event for that. So here first we have to describe this button. We have a action, then whatever we means any function call inside that, and then we have a label. So this is the way we can use the button. And this images also, we can use our system name, or we can use the asset image here. So let's see in Xcode how we can implement these things. Okay, so the next is your secure field. So what to do for that, it's just simple. You just call it like the same, copy it and hide for this text field. And here I'm using secure field. This is for means use for the password. Okay, and here I'm using user password. Okay, so for that what to do, you just copy and paste it for the password. Be like, means when we'll create a login screen, we'll describe you this thing is your user password. Okay, and then you can see it show you as a secure form. Okay, on the right side. So this is the way you can use the secure field also. And now we have to work with the button. Okay, so let's discuss about that button and images. So how we can use it here in the Swiftui. So first we have to use that button. For a button we need to remember two things here. On under that button parenthesis, what you needed, you needed that two things that is important. One is the label and other is action. So when you're doing like that, you use the action here, and under that actions on the curly bracket, whatever you want to print you can do it, or whatever you want to call it here you can use it. Okay, and the next is your label. And for that label again you need a text to represent something. Means you want to show that this is login or likewise. Okay, and here you can say that this is on print. This is login. So by the way we can use this button, that's a way in Swiftui. Okay, so we can check the preview for that, and let's see. Okay, so here you can see that here we have a login, and then when we click it, that means it performs some actions. This is our label. Okay, so at this time I'm not doing any action here because of this a preview. Once you run this simulator, it works like that. But I will clear you all these elements, and then we complete one form, then I will describe you in the simulator how we can use it. Okay, so let's see the next element, that is called image. The image, its image is very simple, means if you want to go for the icons you can use them, and if you want to go for the assets images, so for that you first uh, drag and drop any images here, or you can create all the 1x 2x 3x images from your site, or from designing, or from any websites. Many websites be there, so I will describe you how to do that, but at this time we have only one x image, so I just drag and drop it here, and I'm giving the name to this, or you, I mean, we can rename or whatever be, we give this name here. And here what to do, I'm just call it like a image, and whatever be the name you provided, my image. Okay, then we'll see the preview for this image. So we can here resize the images, we can use the aspect ratios of the images, that I will show you. So the basic funda is that image and whatever be the name you have to use in assets, and other I will show you how you can name system names also you can use for the icons. So let's see. Okay, so here we have an image, and for that image what to do, you just first resize it. uh, yeah, so we have to resizable this image, so it can, we have to fit this on that. So first we have to be give the maximum size, that is um, according to screen it can adjust on that. Okay, so once it's done, I need some aspect ratio for that, and that aspect ratio based on your content mode. So I'm using dot fit content mode, and also I want to fit it. There's a lot of things for which, I mean, to work with this. So at this time I'm using this aspect ratio, so according to that you can adjust it with the frame. Okay, or wait, you just make it like a content mode fit, and dot, I'm making the frame, and that frame work with width 150 and height 150, so it can adjust on that part. Or I think it little small, so make it a 200 and a 200, so yeah, it looks like fine. So this is the way you can adjust the images according to that. We have multiple content modes. I will describe you once we work with special on images. You just check that how it works with it. And if you want to go for the alignment, it works for that alignments also, that is for center, but it's already the center we have used. So this is the way you can work with images. Or if you want to go for, can we do that alignment center? Okay, so that's the way you can work on. Okay, so after that we can describe you how the other images can use it here. You can see that with the frames we have done this uh, logos. So here we have other approaches to work with the images, like if you want to go with the system icons, means like an home icon, and if you want to go for the person user icons plus and other so many, that means so there are at least 6900 near about icons or more than that, I mean cupertinos under that. So how you can call them, so like this is your image, you can say that system name, and first I will show you, this is, if you say that this is the face ID. Okay, so you can see that this is the face ID icon. Or if you want to go with the person, any user image on that, so you can say that person dot fill. Okay, and then we have a plus icon, we have a pencil icon. So many icons will work later on this also, just because of we just checking the elements one by one. So here we discussed about the simple text field, secure field, button, images with your any system images. So these we have worked. Now uh, we have to go for the layout designing. So on that, three important terms we have here, I mean three important ways we have here, that is the VStack and HStack and ZStack. So first we have learned that, and once that's done we will go for the simple login design. So this is the basics we learned here. Okay, so let's start with the VStack here. Okay, so let's discuss about the layouts. So whenever we say that layouts here, and if you designed before, so we have a multiple kinds of there, means we have to go for the linear ones, I mean in Android patterns also, and we have a frame kind of layouts, so many things we have. But here in the Swiftui we can say that we have a stacks for this. So the stacks for the buildings blocks for the creating almost any layout in Swiftui. So they automatically manage the size and positions of their content views. So that's very interesting. So whenever you want some vertical uh, container, means if you want to say that I want to show something in vertical forms, so we have a VStack, that means elements arranged in a vertical format. So for that we have to use that VStack, and we have an alignment for that, and we have a spacing for that. The two important parameters we need is, means uh, the important part, that means we have alignment, that is the first, and the second is spacing. So you can use any one of that also. So that is the protocol for the VStack. So for VStack initializers we use this like that. Okay, so for the key customizations, that means whatever we say that it's a protocol or parameters we are using here. So VStacks come from its ability to control the spacing and alignments, only two things we have. Okay, so you can say that alignments like on the left, center, or whatever we have a, means we have a leadings and trailings here. So left and right we can say that leading and trailing, and the center. So these we have in alignments, and also we have a spacing. So there are two terms we are using here, one is the spacing and other if you want to go for the spacers also. So we'll discuss later, but this is the point, I mean we have a key customization for this, we are using this, and we have a VStack. And the same we have to follow the HStack, that is we can say the horizontal. Okay, so I will show you both the way for the VStack and the HStack. So same thing we have to follow, but in the horizontal manner. So let's see both the stacks here, and Z is little bit different. So we discuss, I mean it is kind of frame, means overriding or overlapping views. So first we discuss this VStack, HStacks, and then I will show you the ZStacks on that. Let's see. So as we discussed in the theory, we can learn the VStack here, how we can implement it. Okay, so for that it's very easy, you just use that this VStack, and in curly parenthesis whatever be the child you want under the VStack, you just use it, just like I'm using the text. Okay, so if you go with the text likewise, and here, so it's showing you as in a vertical layout. Okay, so you also give the spacing, as I told you we have a parameter for that, so I'm using the spacing 20, so it show you the spacing. Okay, likewise that, so the it's equally spacing of 2020. So here if you go with the more spacing or likewise, so you can do it like according to you, you make a groups of that VStack, then use it under the VStack, you can make a group of HStack under that. So that's a lot of things be there according to your layouts. So this is a simply we can say it is a vertical layout. Okay, and also as I told you that if you want to go with the alignment, and you can say that if it has dot center, so it's default, it is a dot center we have. Okay, and if you want to go for the leading. So you can see that it's showing you the left side. So that's the way you can do it. This is the alignment. We have a three kind of alignment always. Leading, that is I show you, that is the left side. Before that we have a center default, and then here you can use the trailing also. So this is the trailing on that right shift speed here. So by you can use whatever your layout, you according to that you can design it. Okay, but default I am using the dot center. And one more thing, that you have to follow the protocols as I told you before, because if you're using the alignment after the spacing, so it throw an error. Okay, so it always be the spacing follow up the alignment. That means the spacing is the second parameter, and that's fixed. Just like when we declare our variables on under that, means we have to pass that this is the integer or likewise, or strings or likewise. So according to that, the same follow up be here. You have to pass those parameters accordingly. So this is a VStack if you want to go for the vertical layout. Now let's see the horizontal stacks, how we can implement. Okay, so let's discuss about the HStack. So for now I comment this part, and using the HStack follow the same. And here I am using one image, the same image I am copy here, and also I am using one text be here, hello HStack. So that's the way you can do that. This is a horizontal way. Okay, and here if you want to give the same spacing be here, and that spacing should be 20, so it look like that. Okay, so according to this it's work. And also if you want to go for the alignment, so you can do that alignments be here. I'm just copying here, and here I'm just using the leading. Sorry, here it's not a leading because of it is a horizontal, so it works as in the center, bottom and the top. Okay, so that's the way you can use it. So I will describe you these things when we make a complete a good layout on the as Swiftui. Okay, so this is the way this VStack and HStack be working. And after that we work with the ZStack, that means the kind of frame layout that is overlappings, or if you want to show with the backgrounds, so that I will discuss with you. And once this done, I will show you one login form, and we'll programming it accordingly. Let's see. So as we have done with the VStacks and HStack, so here in the ZStacks it is used to overlap views. So with the first view in the block being the furthest back, that means if you will, I mean if you say that you have a two VStacks or like that, if you have an you simply say that a frame forms, means a frame layouts on that, means you have to overlap two things be there. If you want to present something background and showing some overlapping values on that, so this is the way you can use in this. So it's a commonly used backgrounds. And if you want to go for the overlays, if you go for the badges, so likewise that if you want to make some cards like that, so you can do that. So that means there we have a back layer, then you go for the front layer, and in your front layer you can use either your element or you can use your layers values, means VStack or horizontal stacks also. So that we'll discuss in the Xcode how we can present it. Okay, so this is the ZStack. So here we have a alignment, we have a effect. So these we will understand how we can use it. Okay, so that's the way you can work with here with the ZStack. So let's see for the other examples here one by one. Okay, so let's start with the ZStack video. Here how we can do that. For ZStack I just follow that same, and in this ZStack what we have to do, I'm just using a background. So for background, let me check this image. Okay, so here I'm using some other image. So can we show the good background? So here it is a very small image. So as I told you that we need a resizable for that, so it cover complete area. Okay, now we have to make it the frame for scaled field. So I just using the scale to fill here, that means it fill here, or you can use the fit also. I will describe you how we can do that. So here I'm using the frame, and here the frame I'm using for a 200, and height I'm using the 150. Okay, so this become our a kind of background. You make a little bit bigger on that if you want. Make it up for the 250 and make it as a 180. Okay, so this that kind of also be good. Okay, so this is a background, and one more thing that I want, that because of it is a black color, so we'll do foreground style, not a color, and that is I'm using a green one. Okay, so it changes to the green one. Okay, so this is a behind layer, and then we need a top layer on that, that means a overlapping layer. So for that what we use the Swift, hello Swift. Okay, so here it cover this, but I want alignment on top. I don't want the content here, so leave the content and only alignment be dot top. Okay, so okay, so that's the thing. And also I want a font, and that font be we have a many kind of, we have a headline, we have a title. I will describe you when we do that large title. So at this time I'm using the title one. Okay, and also if we pick a foreground color, that should be a white, it look fine. And dot padding I'm doing for the 5 one. Okay, so that's the way you can do these things. That is the background, and this is your cover layer, that means the top layer, or we can say overlap. So this is a frame kind of layouts. So I'm giving one more example for that. So you can create your own cards or likewise, so using the ZStack. It's very interesting feature here. If I'm using ZStack in a one more way, so it could be explained better than this is a ZStack, and delete that. I will describe you how we can use the content also, but at this time just simple stack ZStacks we are using. And here I'm using a circle, so you can see that there is kind of circle we have. Okay, and I want to fill it with this all drawing. So we'll also describe in one lecture this drawing also. So I'm using the green color on that. So this become your circle. Okay, and I want to overlap it with the rectangle. So this is your rectangle, but it covered the circle. So for that what we need to make again a frame. So first I want to fill it with dot red color, and then I want to resize it. So for that I'm direct using the frame for that. So this is your frame, and I'm using the width I'm using a 200 comma height I'm using the 150. So Okay, so this on center, default center, or you give the alignment as in a center on that. Okay, so that means rectangle overlapped by the circle overlapped by the rectangle. And after that, if I want the name on for the text, so I covered it, or you can use this thing here. Okay, so this is your hello script. Or if you want to make the font be a bold kind of that, so you can use uh, font weight also. Okay, so the font weight that means it can make it the bold one. So either I will explain you all that how I mean how we can use the multiple fonts on that. So but for now it's okay. That is a simple ZStack. I can hope you understand this thing. So this is a simple ZStack, that is a kind of overlay. That means you have to overlapping something, and you can make your cards, designs, whatever you want on the Swiftui. So that's very interesting feature. Okay, and this is ZStack and VStack. So these all layout we have done, and now we will see that how we can use a simple login form using this all whatever we discussed before. Okay, so let's see. Hi, so before we start the login view, we need to understand the state first because of it is used in your text fields as an input. So state here we can say that it is used for read and write the value, and it is basically we work for the single values here. So state refers to informations that may change over a time within app. Okay, so actually variety of states, I mean we have a lot of things in there, like we have a state, we have a bindings, we have a observe objects. But here if you want to work with like a simple one input, like for user input, password input, so these kind of things here we work under that state. So it can be used any dynamic data that is required by the UI, such a variable representing user input. So mostly we are using here, and we can say that it's the wrapper allows managing the local state within a view, which means this view can keep track of its own changes. Okay, so that's a important thing. We have a binding observe that, but we'll discuss later on that. And if it's a simple explanation of this is we can say it is for a values that belong to the single view. Okay, the first thing is for the single view, and state property wrapper manages the local state inside the Swiftui view. So this is the simple wrapping of the values of the Swiftui, and persistence means the system storage of the state values, ensuring it persists even if the view body is rebuilt. So that means it's updated and remains same. Okay, throughout the session. So this is a simple work of state, and at this time you just learn that for the login view, whenever you're doing as a username and user password, we are using this at state there. Okay, and how we can work with the bindings and how we can work with the multiple states, I will discuss when we using APIs. But at this time you just learn a simple design of the login page and how we can do the input. So step by step we have to work here. Let's see. Login view. So for the login view, first you have to create a folder here, and how to create the folder, you just go for the right click and set the new view. So I already created the views, you can use it or custom views or views, whatever you want here. Okay, and here you just create a new file, and that new file should be a Swiftui. Okay, so say next and give the name to that. I'm giving the name a login view to that my file, and then create it. So this is the simple creation of what is the basic structure of that your file, as we have done last time for the content view. Okay, and now if you see that if you refresh it, it's just showing your text here, just same thing whatever we have done with the content view. And here under the body, so first we have to create a login view. For the login view, what I have to design, we design just simple First we have a text, then we for the logo, then we have a text field, then secure field, then button. So that's a very simple design. First we implement it and how we can operate it. That is the way we can work in the login. Okay, so let's start with the text, and here uh, what we can do, okay, so do I think it's good, welcome back, or whatever you want on that. Okay, and then once text be created, I just want to make it, I will describe you the font also, but at this time just go with the font of that particular. So you can see that this is the font that's coming. Yeah, so this is the font, and I want be the multiple kind of. So if you see the dot here, so you can find that we have a headline, large title, call out, captions. So these all I have created a simple document that how many kind of this and how we can use it. So for now I just want to make it a simple large title. So this is the last title of font. Okay, so once it's done, this is the welcome back on the right side. You can see that this become the last. And also if you want to make it the font weight, so here if you see the dot, so you can find it, this is a bold, black, heavy, light, medium, regular. So at this time I'm using the bold. And then if you go for the paddings of that particular, so I want the simple padding for that. So padding is multiple kinds. I mean, I will describe you the paddings here. This also be a separate session for that, but at this time you just use the simple font, whatever we have done. This is the font weight, this is the padding. So for the padding, in Swiftui lot of things be there. Okay, so here we have a horizontal, infinity, bottom, trailing, leading, all. So these, and the top also. So I want that if you want to go for that multiple values on that padding, means all the sides, let me describe to you. Okay, I'm doing here, rest I will describe you later. So here you can just set the padding. So padding, if you go for the like a 10, so it means it can padding from all the edges. Okay, top, left, right, and the bottom. But if I want be the dot bottom, so it gives you the padding from the bottom. Okay, so you can see that it little bit upper here. So this is the way you can say the top, you can say or particular you can go for that. So but at this time I'm just doing the padding because of I want the below values in it. So just I want a padding between the second one and the first one under the VStack. But the problem is that as we have done that, this is a simple text we have done, but as I told you, we need a multiple values. So for that, what we needed a VStack for that. Okay, so for now I just cut it and say that VStack, and I'm not doing anything with the VStack, and just paste it here. Okay, so this is a simple text which I have done with the VStack. Now because of we have to go for the image also. So for the second step, what I am doing, image. So as we have done in the content view, what we have done in the content view for the image, this is the my image, then we have go for the resizable, and then whatever you want for that. So at this time I'm again doing that. This is the image, and this is my image, the name of that my image. And if you go for the dot, and for dot what I want a resizable, as I told you before. Okay, so once you resize the image, it works for the complete area. Okay, and then now I want to the scale fix, or scale fit or scale to fill. So but here I am doing the scale to fit. Okay, and you can see that this is the frame, because of whenever you want a frame you can scale to fit of that. Here we have a frame, and I want the width here and that width I want for 150 for now, and height also I want for 150. So this is a simple image after the text. Okay, and again I need a padding because of I need a text field below it. So dot bottom, and then bottom I'm doing the 30 padding on that. Simple. Okay, so it moves upper area. So this is the two things we have worked. Number one, this is the text, then image. Now what we needed to make the text field and the secure field, whatever we have done. So just copy paste it, or I will describe you again. So what you have to do for the text field here. Next is our text field. So what to do for the text field, we need one placeholder and the values inside that, as I already explained under the content view. That means how we can implement the text field. So we need one state, and already explained to you what is the state. The state is just you have to enter some values be there, I mean which will be updated according to the app, and for the single values we can make it same, whatever be your app required, so we can do it accordingly. Okay, so this is the text field, and under the text field we need a first is your placeholder, and I'm doing that username. Okay, and here what I want to make it as state. This is our a kind of private, because of we are using the local here. So this is the private where, and that where I am doing with the username, and this is a kind of string, as we are doing the representations always for the string, and this is our blank value at this time. So for that what I need a text that's saying that is missing, and this is your dollar, and this is your user name. Okay, so that's the way you can use the text field here. Okay, refresh it, and the next thing is that, and after the text field what I needed, we just go for the padding. So here two things need to understand, that if you go with the padding inside, so it works for the text field inner values, so inner whatever the padding doing. But if you go for again that padding according to the external view, so you can see that it behave like some margin. So yeah, so after this a simple login view will describe you these things, means font and padding. So that will work together, how you can implement like that. But at this time I'm just describing a very simple login view, just understand how we can use it. Okay, so at this time I'm doing padding, I'm not passing anything here, and once it's done, so it means it padding, I mean it can padding from upper, bottom, that means top, bottom, left side, and right side, inner values. Okay, and now if you go with I need the background, how you can use that background. So you can use it like we have a lot of things with the background, that is also be important, but according to the time, I mean I will explain everything to you. But here you can see that the color, so we have a multiple colors on that. If you want to go for the blue or then system gray, so likewise that, so I'm choosing the system gray 3. You can see that this one. Now I needed the padding be like a margin. So what to do, this is the our background, and if you want to go for the radius, corner radius also, so you can go with that, or because of that it's also been important, but you can see that it be little bit change on that. Okay, but I want to show it completely with this, so that is a very good way to do with the padding. You can say that it is a horizontal. So if you go with the horizontal padding, it automatically take it from the left and from the right. So that's the way you can do it. Okay, And if you want to stop the auto capitalization, that you can do, but I don't want at this time. So this is the way you can work here. And the same thing I need it, but for the secure field, and that secure field I want one user password. So here I'm using user pass. Okay, so user password, and this is our user pass. Okay, so this is the simple secure field, and these things we have done. So you can see that. So this is our top text, this is our logo, this is the username, user password, and then after that we have to work with the button. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so for a button, what to do, you just call that button, that's easy. And here we have an action and also the label. Okay, so for the action I'm not doing anything, we just make it blank, and if you want to print, you can call that whatever be the value entered, it comes be here. Okay, and for the label, what to do, for the label we need a text, so we just need a text, and I'm just saying that this is the login. Okay, so according to whatever your design you can work. If you want make it simple, it just be the simple, but if you want to make the button shape, so for that we'll do some little things like font. We'll describe you how we can create a custom buttons also for this, and I'm doing the headline for this. You can choose anything, large button or whatever be. And if you want to go for the foreground color, so you can go for the foreground color. And if I'm using the white, so that means we need something, a dark background on that. So because of the font become white, so it's not showing here. I'm just using the frame first. So for the frame, either you can use the width or height, but it not works for all devices, so better you can go for that max width. And max width I'm using dot infinity, sorry, it is infinity, yeah. So that means the cross max width we have an infinity, that means it works for all devices. Okay, means according to padding it adjusts there. And if you want to make some height for this, so here you can decide the height for the button. So I will describe you with according to different versions we can use the height like that. And here we have a next thing is, once you create that foreground frame, you can do the padding on that. Okay, and leave the blank padding, it's AutoCAD adjust for all the sides. Okay, and now the make it the background color, and it should be I'm making anything, you can just okay go for the blue for now, and you can see that it works like so. Here you can see this is the text area, whatever you have done, this is under the text area, means whatever padding and anything be done. And one more thing, if you want to go for the corner radius for the frames, so for the corner radius I'm making 10 for this. Now for the button, means padding works as a margin here, and padding works as a padding here. So as I described you before, so here if I go for that padding again, so I'm just using the same thing here. The padding is your horizontal, so it automatically adjusts for that. Okay, so you can see that it works for all devices with the same. So you have to use this padding horizontal for this. And if you want more padding, like from the top, you can say that the top, and I want 20, so that means there is some gap between them, so you can, it look like good for. So whenever you call the button, I will describe you how we can implement the dynamic things. So these values be entered from the text field and it works like an okay. So this is the way you can make your logins in Swiftui. So let's discuss about the list, and all these things we will learn dynamically and how we can use them. But just I describe you very simple things. You just go for one by one this by go through these things. So we'll do more on that. Okay. So the simple things, very simplest way we design the login here. We'll do more for the list in the next episode.